I learned a lot from that one.
Good,
So,
good.
what I was going to call about was this upcoming UAP disclosure, and that I just wanted to quickly say that if it's Russians or Chinese or even an alien ET threat, they're kind of just flying around us and not really doing anything, letting us photograph them, videotape them. Like, you'd think if it was the Russians or the Chinese and they really hated us that bad, they would just strap a nuke on that bad boy and send it over here. We can't do anything about it. You know, Jeremy, the people that are disclosing it, have said that the Navy tried to use anti-drone activities on them and that they were unsuccessful. So I just think that if they were to try to hurt us, then they would do it, you know? But I kind of wanted, I don't think we've ever heard your personal opinion on the UAP disclosure.
Well, I've been,
what you thought about it.
I have been all over this. I'll tell you what I've said in the past, and then I'll freshen it. So, to me, this is that disclosure that people have been asking for. I don't know why it is that people say, well, maybe someday, you know, the government will reveal what it knows. I think the government is revealing what it knows, and it's really scary that they may not have definitive answers. Could it be that these UAPs are in fact Chinese and or Russian or somebody else we may not even be thinking about right now, and that organization, whatever it is, has a bigger plan of flying around us and seeing us destroy ourselves over it. Maybe they land something. Maybe they do drop something, but it's not a bomb. You know, what would happen to the fabric of our society under those terms? I think we go back to that famous Twilight Zone episode, right? Where everybody, the Martians, all they have to do is flick lights on and off and scare everybody into attacking each other. So maybe that isn't what happened. Maybe we would just coalesce behind a common enemy, or maybe we wouldn't. Maybe we'd be choosing sides, and people who would be self-interested and wanting to preserve their wealth or their status would try to make special arrangements, or who knows. But it would bring, maybe it's a religious fervor that they're afraid of. Maybe it's something else. If it is Russian or Chinese, you're right. If the whole intent was just to kill us, what are they waiting for? I think that would have happened by now. Maybe that's the best argument for the fact that it isn't. And that it is just something extraterrestrial, not of this earth. Not necessarily ET, not saying it's a gray, not saying it's a reptilian, getting away from loaded language and just saying, well, with this new video evidence and the Pentagon's willingness to reveal it, maybe we need to just sort of scale back our conversation. Let's get back to what are knowns. And the knowns we have is that we have these videos. These crafts are doing things which we can't do, and we have tried to stop them or manipulate them, and we have been unable to so far. That really is all we know. What do you think of that, Brendan?
Those are very good points, and you know, you gave me a lot of food for thought. I really enjoyed that, and you know, just right before I go, I just want to say, wouldn't it be cool that if Congress came out and they did say something, and it was really just, hey guys, we come out holding hands with the Greys and Reptilians, everybody loves each other. That'd be awesome, right? And then you go into your class at your university, and all of your students are like, wow, this guy's been working with you, like, this stuff for a long time.
Right.
I think that would be really cool.
You know, it's really scary. This is the God's honest truth. So, I teach a podcasting class, and I work a lot with the people who are running the radio station here, Wildcat 91.9 on campus. And several times it has come up, and somebody said, what I really want to do is someday I want to do a paranormal podcast. And tell me about that. Oh, yeah, I love these paranormal podcasts. And we'll be talking about it. And I say, well, have you ever listened to Coast AM? And they go, no, what's that? There are so many Gen Zs and especially lower age millennials who have never heard of Coast to Coast. And that's so funny to me because it's so formative, right? I mean, Coast to Coast put the blueprint down for generations now of podcasters that are continuing the tradition in one way, but also totally copying off the show at the same time. God bless them. You know, fun to do. I've always said everybody should do Coast. It's a fun show. All right, so let's see. We've got Mark in Las Vegas on Coast to Coast AM. Mark on a wild card line.
Ian, hey, it's great to get through to you. I'm a Coast to Coast insider, and I'm so glad I am.
Glad to get you.
And I was, talking to Connie Willis last time about UFOs that I saw, but I've been in Las Vegas for like a year now, and originally from the Pinelands of South Jersey for most of my life, and
I know the Pinelands. I've driven through the Pinelands before. That place, until you've driven through the Pinelands, you do not know why the Jersey Devil story started, because that place is truly filled with spooky shadows for miles at a time. I totally
there.
I bet. I love it, but the Pine Barrens are weird. It's just a strange part of the country.
Oh yeah, it was. We lived out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned before, I had a lot of stories to tell, and of course I can't tell them all at once. But I enjoy the opportunity to tell them when I can. And but this one happened back in 1990 when I lived in Hamilton, and I was working at the Sands Casino in Atlantic City at the time in security, and of course that casino's not there anymore. But right when I first started working there, I got a digital watch for work. It's a rugged watch, a Wrangler watch, and it was only like $10, but it was a really good watch, and I had it for years and years. It lasted like a really long time. You'll see why I mentioned the watch in a few seconds here. Right at that time, I had a dream. I was in my, it was a cheery dream. It was a sunny day. I was in my bedroom, and we had yellow walls, and a lot of sunlight came in there. And there was a picture of President Kennedy on the wall, which I actually did have. But in the dream, the picture looked different. In the dream, the picture, his face looked like he looked relieved. Like there was a lot of pressure that was released from him, and at the same time he had this smile look on his face as if to say, wait till you find out what I know. And there was a clock next to the picture, which we did not have in real life, but it said 10 minutes before 10. And now right after that, I was working, of course I was working a gray shift, one morning I was on my day off, and my son was in school, my wife was at work, and I was sitting there watching the morning news, and I heard this beep, 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 and I'm looking around like, what's that noise? And I followed the noise into the hallway where I had my key rack, and I used to hang my wristwatch on the key rack. And the wristwatch said 9:50, and it was blinking, and the alarm was going off. I never set the alarm on that watch. I didn't even know how to. I never used it. And then every morning, the alarm would go off at 9:50, and then it started doing it at 9:50 at night, p.m. also, and this continued for quite a while. And then it just stopped. And so I just, since it happened so close together, I wondered, geez, there's something's going on here, And I read a lot of books about President Kennedy. I'm retired. I'm 66 years old, so I remember him when I was a kid. And, I remember him, when he got assassinated. And, I remember all that very well. And so I was always very interested in him, and read so many books on him. And accidentally, I can't remember which book it was. It was kind of like accidental. I came across this one part where it showed his whole schedule for the day when he died. And he started out that day in Fort Worth because he was down in Texas for like 3 or 4 days on the campaign tour, getting ready for re-election, And, of course, Dallas was like the end of the trip, and everything was going very well up until Dallas. But, he spent a night in Fort Worth, and the next morning he left Fort Worth and went to Dallas, on the last day that he was there. And but he left the hotel in Fort Worth, I forget which hotel it was, he left that hotel at 9:50. And, but it just feels, I just don't think it was a coincidence, you know, and,
well, we'll have to leave it there because I'm running out of time, but I will say, I can remember a time, too, when $10 actually bought you a really good watch, so I'm with you on that. I think that's a very telling story, and I was just having a conversation about the Zapruder film that I will share in a moment, because I think it speaks to part of what you're saying. And the third part is, you never know, but I'm glad you shared it, because it was well told. I'm glad to know you've been with us for all that time here on Coast to Coast AM, and to everybody else who is hanging on. We'll get to you as best we can, as soon as we can. It does not have to be about any one particular topic, but I do see a lot of people up on the screen who want to go back to UAPs, and so I'm game. I mean, this is the week for that, and I think it's going to be the summer for that. Can you imagine what would happen with the videos that exist right now if there was an incident involving a commercial jet or something where a lot of people saw it all at once that weren't just military? Like a mass sighting. We haven't had one of those for a while. I don't know. Throw that out there. Strange case of Dr. Doyle was our first 2 hours, but somebody else wants to add in on the Jack the Ripper narrative too next. On Coast to Coast AM, this is Ian Punnett.
Kfi 24-hour newsroom. About 10 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been given out in LA County. 55% of people in the county are fully vaccinated. Health officials say 86% of people 65 and older have gotten at least one shot, and 74% are fully vaccinated. More young people are showing up for shots. In May, 35% of 16 to 17-year-olds had gotten a shot. A month later, that number went up to 47%. The World Health Organization says the Delta variant of COVID-19 is creating a big problem across Europe.
The strain now making up 90% of new cases in the UK. Experts in the US cautioning we can't let it happen here.
ABC's Whit Johnson says the Delta variant has been identified in nearly 30 states in the US. The WHO says the COVID vaccine is the best protection from the more infectious strain. The Pfizer vaccine has proved to be 88% effective against the variant. SoCal weather from KFI. Clear skies, but in the afternoon, it'll be hot with temperatures in the 90s. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Berumen.
All lanes closed in Westminster on the northbound side of the 405 Valley View to the 22. Caltrans work till around 6 a.m. Watch for delays starting at Westminster Avenue. All lanes also shut down through Stillmar on the eastbound 210 between the 5 and Roxford. That's until around 5 o'clock Monday morning. And Santa Monica, westbound side of the 10 between 4th Street and the McClure Tunnel, all lanes closed till 6 a.m. today as well. As part of that project, Pacific Coast Highway is shut down as well, both directions between Ocean Avenue and the California Incline. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robert DeBucky.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. So, what did you do during the last power outage? My guess is not much. Because the power was off. Yeah, nothing disrupts your life, your comfort, even your safety like a power outage. And the power companies have spoken. Outages are the new normal. So here's my advice. Set up your home with a permanent emergency generator from my friends at Duffy Power, and it never has to happen again. Duffy is Southern California's generator experts. KFI trusts Duffy with our generators, and so should you. And with 0% interest financing and payments as low as $72 a month, your emergency power is totally affordable. From the largest commercial systems to your unique home, Duffy Power will make sure your life, your comfort, and your safety won't be interrupted during the next outage or all the ones after that. Dial pound 250 on your cell and say Duffy Power. Pound 250 Duffy Power, or find Duffy on the web at DuffyPower.com. That's DUTHIE Power.com.
In 1975, my family lived under the boot of communist Russia. Hello, I'm John Akoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. Communism was so oppressive that my dad, who didn't speak a word of English, left everything behind and immigrated us to America. I was only 3 years old. I can't imagine the courage it took to do that. My father put us first, and at Rooter Hero Plumbing, we put you first. That's why we always offer you an affordable solution. If you have a clogged drain, call us at 866-DRAIN-77, and we'll cable your line for only $77. That's 866-DRAIN-77. Thank you for trusting Rooter Hero Plumbing with your most valuable asset, your home. I miss my dad, but his sacrifice will never be forgotten. Happy Father's Day.
Everybody needs a hero. RooterHero.com.
CO 102-8886.
Getting families vaccinated against COVID-19 is an important step to bringing back joy for all of us. That's within reach now that the Pfizer vaccine is proven safe and effective for those 12 and older. This is the same vaccine millions of Californians have already gotten. California is even adding new vaccine clinics specifically for young people. Together, we can end the pandemic. Visit vaccinateall58.com or call 833-422-4255 to learn more.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking from a place called Eho. Gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Werewolves of London. Werewolves of London.
To talk to Ian Punnett, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll-free from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with Ian Punnett.
Well, that's in a way, you know, the story again of whoever it was that was killing all of those women on the streets of London. I like the theory of Dr. Dan Friedman, The Strange Case of Dr. Doyle, that it was actually Dr. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He had a crazy childhood. He had something to prove. He had something against prostitutes. It makes more sense than a lot of other theories that have come and gone over the years. So I encourage you to link up to him at his book and to hang on for Robert, who's in San Diego. He'll get us started in just a second with his comment for Open Lines next on Coast to Coast AM. This is Ian Punnett.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. For your free quote, call 1-800-885-7755. That's 1-800-885-7755. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-885-7755. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Real people, real stories.
I have suffered for years and years, and it was one of those things that I was just willing to try most anything, and so I ordered the Carnivora. I had acute eczema and hives. I had been to minimum of 3 different dermatologists. They always gave me another cream or another ointment to put on that was supposed to help relieve the itching. I have tried every cream and ointment that you can imagine. I promise you it was pretty miserable. So I started taking Carnivora, and at this point, I don't want to ever be without it. I don't want to go back there again.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivora.com. That's CARNIVORA.com.
We were talking about the JFK assassination a minute ago, and I want to get back to that, but I wanted to also grab Robert before I do, because I know he's been hanging on for a while west of the Rockies. And you had a thought on the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle as Jack the Ripper theory?
Yes, Ian, thanks for taking my call. As a matter of fact, in high school I read every book except The Hound of the Baskervilles, and I learned a lot about detective work.
I love that. Wait, The Hound of the Baskervilles is the best because it's not just a great story. It's at the end of Hound of the Baskervilles when Sherlock Holmes celebrates the successful conclusion of the investigation by taking opium. And he says to Holmes, "To the needle!" And it's so funny that's, you know, at the time that was not that uncommon. And yet I was watching a new version of like Hound of the Baskervilles, and at the end of it, Holmes says something like, I don't know, let's go to Waffle House or something. It's like so not opium at the end of the story. I'm sorry, Robert, go ahead. So what's your thought on all of this?
Well, your guest, Daniel, had a theory, and it's a sound theory, a very sound theory.
Yes.
May very well be true. There is something contemporary that can be proved that is even more bizarre. But before I get into that bizarreness, let me first establish some credibility here. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I do believe aliens are out there, but they're never going to be a factor in our lives for 300 years at least. It's a waste of our talent to focus on that stuff, I think. But Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was a famous celebrity in his own time, in his own right.
Yep.
And he could do something outrageous like commit all these murders, and no one would ever suspect, because it enshrouds the aspect of incomprehensibility. Therefore, you have a perfect crime. The contemporary parallel to that can be proved. You'll have to Google Stephen King shot John Lennon to find out.
Oh, shut up. You're not that guy. That's so dumb. Stop it. Grow up. Jeez. That was a long way to go for that. I would have preferred, if you're going to yank our chain like that, just to end up back on that old trope where you're going to abuse the privilege and lie to people about getting on the air. At least say Bubba Booey at the end, because that's about as intelligent as going back to Stephen King. Okay? Just let it rest, man. Get a new theory. Too bad, man. I was really hoping for something good from you. Because he did make on my screen, he makes a good point. Hide in plain sight. Yes. Here's what's so interesting about hiding in plain sight. That if, in fact, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was hiding in plain sight as Jack the Ripper, it does go back to the purloined letter of Edgar Allan Poe, right? That's the whole point. The best place to hide is in plain sight. So, I don't want to ruin that story if no one's ever read it, but that's where, I don't know, I feel pretty good about this theory. It's pretty sound. And there's something really beautiful about the way in which, if it's true, that some of that biography of the life of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle would speak directly to the actions of Jack the Ripper, even if it turns out not to be him. That was one messed up puppy. Let's leave it at that. The perfect crime. Yeah, in pursuit of the perfect crime. It's so what Holmes was after. And he was always the one that could debunk it, but he was the only one that could do it. So another perfect crime, maybe in some respects, is the death of JFK, the assassination. So I was talking about this earlier today with my younger son, Itchy. I have two kids, Itchy and Scratchy. My younger son, Itchy, was talking about the Zapruder film, and he was saying that how interesting it is to him, from his perspective, that we've analyzed the Zapruder film, and what we find is all of these mundane, non-consequential, typical human things are going on in the Zapruder film, except, of course, for the assassination, and that we bring such significance to them because it happens around the middle of a world-pivoting event, a tragedy like the assassination of a president. And so that's why these small actions that happen get overanalyzed until they become significant. And I argue the other way around. I think we look at the Zapruder film, and you could watch it 50 times at regular speed, and you would never catch all of the oddities that are going on. Only when you slow it down do you realize these are not mundane things. Like the woman who pops open the umbrella. I mean, that's just weird, and that's just one of them. I won't go any deeper because it's not a JFK show, but think about that. That maybe that's where we are even with UAPs, that we are in a state where we have it, we can analyze it, we can slow it down, we can look at the video, we can digitize it, we can do all sorts of stuff. We can look at just even the finest little corner of the videos that exist and still not know what it is. I mean, that's the poser. Bill is in New Ulm, Minnesota, on Coast to Coast AM. Bill?
Hi, Ian. This is Bill. Yeah, I think on the UAP versus UFO, the aerial is better than flying because when you say flying, that implies interaction with air. And some of these things may be occurring in space or, water. And phenomenon is better than object because you don't even know if it's an object. It could just be a optical illusion.
No, that's
so
really
I like
good.
UAP.
Yeah, and I just like it as so many things in our language semantically evolve. There's a reason why we don't call things today what we may have called them 100 years ago. And sometimes it's because it takes on negative connotations, right? There's pejorative meanings of certain words, and I think that's what's happened with UFO. It's become pejorative, and it becomes too easy to dismiss it. UAP is a bigger challenge. I'm with you 100%. These are aerial, these are unidentified, unknown aerial phenomena. And let's just leave it at that. And let's get away from all of the movies and all of the speculation that has gone on, and let's just go back to, let's just start from scratch. And that's what we're doing. It's a whiteboard, and we're working with UAPs. I like that a lot more, and I think that's that's the future of that type of research. All right, so Annie is in Alabama. Been a while on Coast to Coast AM. Annie?
Thank you, Ian, for taking my call. If anybody has any old baggy, saggy socks that don't match, please put them on eBay, because I have ordered every pair of so-called non-binding, extra-wide socks. Every one of them are fake. If you see one stretched over a gallon milk jug, and they say that's how big it is, that's a fake. I've paid for every one and sent them all back because there's nothing but a tourniquet. They make marks on your ankles. There's nothing extra wide or non-binding about them. So if you've got any, put them on eBay, or I'll trade them to you for some Christmas trees that you can plant.
Okay, wait a second. So you have edema on your lower legs, and you're looking for socks that don't bind.
No, they cause blood clots. If you see...
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but that's what I'm asking. So you've got...
They don't have edema, but they will cause edema, and they will cause blood clots.
If they're leaving marks, that's a kind of an indication. So you're saying you want socks that are not too tight, right?
I want them so loose. I've got a picture of...
but why not get garters? Why not get garters and hosiery?
No, I want socks.
But that's how you could get... That's how we sold socks for years, is socks.
No, I just want socks. Normal socks like normal people wear.
Okay.
It's all a scam.
Okay. The sock scam. All right, Andy, you got it. It's a scam. I got it. I forgot the second syllable. It's a scam. And I love that because that's just how my mother talks. All right, Walt is in Allentown on Coast to Coast AM. Walt?
Hey, PhD, it's good to be on with you again.
Thank you. And your thoughts?
Why, PhD, well, I'd just like to make two comments. Why, our new Attorney General, Merrick Garland, recently stated that all of our rights are dependent upon our right to vote. Now, apparently he is not aware of the fact that Adolf Hitler was doing...
Wait. Walt, is this what you said you were going to talk about?
Well, in deference to...
Wait a second. I want to know, because I don't like to talk about politics, and I feel like you sneak them in all the time. And so you'll say whatever it takes to get up on the screen, and then when you get on the air, you might as well be talking about Stephen King killed John Lennon. So, be honest with me. Is this what you told Donna you were going to talk about?
Well, in deference to Donna, I was going to ask, mundanely, do you prefer being a college professor or a radio talk show host?
But that's your Trojan horse, right? I mean, you ask you say, I'm going to ask him this innocent question so you can bypass and you can get on the air and talk about politics, right?
Well, it's not politics. It's about Ian. You know, I'm an NRA member. You know.
I'm just saying, Walt. At first we practice to deceive. I mean, how can you lie to Donna's face, that sweet face, and say you're going to talk about something else and then not do that? That's like, I mean, she's got a tear going down her cheek thinking Walt can't be trusted.
I've been on hold for close to over an hour.
But that doesn't give you the right. That doesn't get, there's no time that runs out. There's no statute of limitations on what you say you're going to talk about, and you haven't been on for an hour because we haven't been doing open lines for an hour yet. So come on, Walt. You know better. Let's be honest. If we're going to hold people up to a standard, let's hold it up to ourselves first, right? Okay.
Ian, can I say something? Something?
Okay.
I spoke to Don at 2:58.
Okay.
2:58 Eastern Time. So I was on hold for over an hour. So
you got on. You called early because you were a repeat caller, and you know the game is to call in early, lock up a line. You haven't been on my screen that long, B. So let's just be honest. There is no statute of limitations that says after the first 10 minutes you can switch your topic if you feel like it. So just be honest with Donna next time. Say what you're going to say. If she thinks it's worthy of putting up, then maybe it will be. But don't be a Trojan horse. Don't create an illusion. And just be honest. I hold that up standard for everybody. And Donna actually wrote on my screen here, I warned him to stay on topic. So you had that as a caveat even before. So I hope everybody does that. All right, let's go to Chris in Birmingham, Alabama on Coast to Coast AM. Chris?
Hi, yes. Thank you for taking my call. And I appreciate you holding up people to their standards. That's good. That's good.
Well, Annie from Alabama said she was going to talk about socks, and God bless her, she got on the air and she talked about socks. So,
that's right. She did it. Yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
So, I guess mine was, I was asking a question about the thing before that caller that was saying that ridiculous thing about Stephen King. You right before you went to break, you were saying, like, wait until there's, like, a mass sighting.
Yeah, wouldn't it be interesting? It's been a while since we've had one.
That'd be great, if that happens. The thing is, since, like, I'm by no means a historian and apology or anything like that. I'm just saying that everything is in the past 20th century, and the thing is, it seems like by now, especially in the past, 20 years, there would be a moment where someone could capture something, and by me, I'm not denouncing anything that the Navy, the Air Force, they've captured some things that I don't understand. I still don't know. And the thing is, I'm wondering what will it take for, let's just say that mass setting did take place. What would happen after that? And, I guess I'm just kind of asking, like, the thought of blurry photo, of blurry video capture, again, not judging. I'm just like, what would it take, and then what would happen after the fact?
Well, what do you think? Well, I mean, I'll tell you my opinion. I think we see it over and over again as people don't care. How about that? Alien ship. Weird. I think that's it. What are you having for breakfast? Hey, are we out of Fruit Loops? I mean, I swear to God.
Well, I'm just wondering, there's a lot of times when people thought it was something else, and it turned out to be something that, for example, a planet, like in the 50s or 60s, like all of a sudden, but it becomes so hyped to the point that people start believing in something, and it's not the actual thing. So there's no judgment here because I'm on the same side.
Fair question. I have a great faith in humankind that if you actually revealed, if the Pentagon had it, right? They have this big file. And they said, we've created a website, everybody can go search it. We're going to see the same pattern replicated, maybe even like we did with COVID, right? It would be a certain percentage of people go, don't believe it. Government says it, I don't believe it. Period. And other people are going to look at it and they're going to overanalyze it. And they're going to go, oh my God, we're going to die tomorrow. And they're going to freak out. And that will be a percentage of the population that will freak out. And the majority of the people will find a way to get by. You got to go to work. You got to pay your mortgage. Unless it's really like an invasion and there's lasers coming down and the people are getting scooped up like mice or something, unless that's happening, I think you would say, look, the Pentagon has proven there have been many visitations. This is where we think they come from. They come down, they take pictures, and it's going to be maybe after Google Earth, it's going to be like, oh, well, next time I'll wave if I know they're going by, or I'll moon them. Or I will, whatever, I'll give them the finger as they go past and go, hey, go back to your own planet. Whatever. I think that's where the majority of people would be, and we see that repeated over and over again.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it for the question. And I hope it'd be neat if somehow that there was some major event, some mass sighting, where we all went, okay, let's all be better. But I don't know. I'm not sure I see any evidence of, hey, let's all be better. There's plenty of reasons to be better right now, right? You can watch the end of The Blind Side and go, let's all be better. Go ahead. I can watch the end of The Dirty Dozen. If I really want to cry, I'll watch the end of Shawshank Redemption. And I'll go, let's all be better. But all right, we've got Chris. We've got Bert in Daytona Beach. He's going to have to take us up to the top of the hour. Bert?
Ian, you're so wonderfully positive tonight, man. You
are always be there.
Beautiful momentum is gonna override what I have to say. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Now, this COVID-19, I know it's covered all over the place, but they said that the actual statistics have beaten out World War I, Vietnam, and Korea combined. Now, I live in a very precarious place because I've always got to listen to the Canary Islands. If there's a volcano or earthquake on Canary Islands, I can pack it in because I got a tsunami and I'm done.
Okay.
But there's
because you live in Daytona.
Yeah. There's a couple of gentlemen on the web, and there's all kinds of eschatological voices out there, and I don't know if I should mention their names for one.
No, but go ahead. It's all right. Eschatology is eschatology. They're all wrong so far. So every single eschatologist, I mean, if there ever was a losing profession where you're guaranteed to be wrong in your lifetime, study that. I'm afraid that's the time we have, but we'll leave it there. Coming up at the top of the hour. I can't believe we're not going into our last hour, are we? On Open Lines on Coast to Coast AM, this is Ian Punnett.
Masks don't slow us down. They keep us moving. From the store to the park for a pickup game. At the movies. Or at the gym. Keep wearing a snug-fitting mask with multiple cloth layers. Together, we can end this pandemic. Visit covid19.ca.gov today to learn more. Brought to you by the Center at Sierra Health Foundation.
Getting families vaccinated against COVID-19 is an important step to bringing back joy for all of us. That's within reach now that the Pfizer vaccine is proven safe and effective for those 12 and older. This is the same vaccine millions of Californians have already gotten. California is even adding new vaccine clinics specifically for young people. Together, we can end the pandemic. Visit vaccinateall58.com or call 833-422-4255 to learn more.
You voted for all this, and now what? You're going to move to a state where there's far less of these progressive whack jobs and say, "Wow, life is better here." None of this bad stuff happens by accident. It happens because of choices we make. John and Ken, it's our fault.
Weekdays 2 to 6 on KFI.
There was a Secure Fence Act of 2006, and you know who voted for that at the time? Everybody.
It's the hypocrisy of politicians.
It really is.
It isn't one side or the other, because we saw this when Obama was in office. There were Republicans who refused to go along with anything that guy did because they didn't like him.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. KFI.
Our workforce that is not being helped at all by this economy.
This has nothing to do with the White House, by the way. This is simply the way it's rolling.
So, you expecting me to say, "Aha, Trump!" Nope.
Bill Handel.
This has nothing to do with the president.
Mornings from 6 to 10 on KFI.
Now, this segment is rated PG-13, just so you know.
It's a little bit risque. Here's what I tell people.
If you have kids in the car, turn up the volume.
Bill Handel. Mornings from 6 to 10 on KFI. You think we've got all the answers? Well, we've got news for you, Chief. No, seriously, we've got news right now. KOST-HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Success on Skid Row. I'm Brian Berman from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A mental health program on Skid Row has been used as a model for a statewide program. Democratic State Senator Henry Stern of Malibu walked along Skid Row with some LA County mental health teams to see if the program could be scaled up.
Seeing how these home teams work, I've been able to take that message back to Sacramento and say, we don't just have to keep pouring the old wine into new bottles here and just doing the same darn thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Stern is proposing $150 million in spending to expand the program as part of a bigger $2.5 billion package to address behavioral health. Almost 10 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine have been given out in LA County.
Of those, 5.5 million have been first doses and 4.1 million second doses. County health officials say in total, 55% or more than 4.5 million residents in LA County are fully vaccinated. 86% of those 65 and older have received at least one dose, and 74% are fully vaccinated. Officials say more young people are beginning to show up for a shot. As of May, 35% of 16 to 17-year-olds had gotten a shot. A month after, the number went up to 47%. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
The federal government has decided to restore $929 million in grant funding to the California High-Speed Rail project. Governor Newsom says the decision is proof the Biden administration cares about clean, electrified transportation. The project has been delayed for years by bloated budgets, cost overruns, lawsuits, and missed deadlines. More states have decided to end the pandemic-related federal unemployment benefits early. Alaska, Iowa, Missouri, and Mississippi have joined more than 20 other Republican-led states that will be canceling the extra $300 early this month or next month. The governor says the extra money is keeping people from going back to work. The federal benefits are set to expire in September. Disney World in Florida says fully vaccinated guests can go maskless in most parts of the park starting next Tuesday. Physical distancing will also